Greetings and welcome to episode 9 of the Q Podcast, a podcast where a gathering of friends weigh in on passion topics from gaming, pop culture, and tech. My name is Ben Thomas, aka freeBrunch. Also joining me today is Patrick Figueroa.
What's going on, guys?
Nice. I'm working on my announcer voice. I'm gonna go Patrick Figueroa.
I like the dude in the boxing matches. What's his name?
Oh,
Let's get ready to rumble.
yeah, we should know his name. It's sad that, he's so famous and we should know his name. He actually trademarked that. He owns it.
I think so.
Does he really?
Yeah, because the Showtime guy, because he works for HBO, the Showtime guy says something similar, but it's not exactly that because he lawfully cannot.
Yeah.
I remember that because we watched the Pacquiao fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in corner number 2, coming in at 6. I don't know how tall you are. Are you 6 foot?
No way.
Are you serious?
He's taller than me, and I'm like 5'10". I'm
like
like
you are
5'10" on a good day. Christian Elariaga,
Hey, you.
welcome. We got a couple more hours until E3 starts, so we got some time to breathe.
Yeah, I know. It starts so late. I got work tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And Game of Thrones season finale tonight, so
Yes.
it's
Oh my God.
balance.
Kill me twice.
Let's dive into Game of Thrones, because I feel like we're on the season finale and we haven't talked about that show yet.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good. It's a good episode to really start talking about it because the book readers and the show watchers and George R. R. Martin and DB Squared they're all doing weird stuff. They're all saying and doing weird stuff.
I never thought we would get to the day where Game of Thrones like flew under the radar. Like that show hasn't dipped in quality, but it's definitely just everyone just accepts it as it's Game of Thrones. Like everyone watches it, it's always amazing, and it's almost like underrated now, which is crazy since it's the most beautiful, high budget amazingness.
They kept themselves at status quo, I guess, or status quo.
Yeah. I mean, this season has been amazing. It's been
Right.
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, it has.
And
It really has.
it's not buzz. I mean, there were a couple episodes that buzzed like some of the controversial pieces, which they're always known for.
Ugh.
But
Yeah,
I don't.
That was an entire hornet's nest.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of. Did y'all read about? It's not shade, but George R. R. Martin has been distancing himself from the whole thing because people keep asking him, when David Benioff and I don't know what they're called, DW and DB. I don't know, it's DB
David
squared.
Weiss and Dan. DB squared. I like that.
It's like I don't know. Anyways,
The showrunners.
the showrunners, people are asking George R. R. Martin, is this what you wanted? Is this what your book's gonna be? And he's like, I'm just trying to write my books, man.
He better be.
Before he was behind his showrunners, and now he's just trying to. It seems like he's distancing himself more and more.
Yeah, I don't think he likes a lot of the. I feel bad for him because I don't think he likes the.
The directions that
direction.
we're going in now.
Oh no, I don't think he minds the direction. I think he minds the publicity. Like now that it's controversial, I don't think he likes all the people who are bugging him. I think he and the showrunners are on good.
I feel like they're kind of nailing it on point. I mean, it's a controversial show with controversial topics. I mean,
Yeah.
compared to the first episode, that was kind of, I don't know, tame?
I think that, what I heard is that the most controversial thing that happened recently was actually George R. R. Martin's idea, not the showrunner's idea. So
I don't think that's what his book is going to be, though, because his editor sent out a tweet saying, not really condemning, but if you want to know the real story, obviously wait for George's adaptation, because I don't think with what happened in the latest episode, I don't think that's the way it was supposed to play out.
do you think the editor's just trying to sell books, or? I don't like that. This is making me sad.
Yeah, no, I mean it is a little sad because when people were bugging George R. R. Martin about it, he's like, I'm just gonna go back to writing The Winds of Winter right now in a cold kind of way. I could be wrong.
Oh,
though.
that was a good pun. Anyway,
But-
sorry. I mean, the show's so good. Everyone needs to just be happy. It's
Right. I
so
mean,
good.
If it really offends you that much, you have the option to just turn it off and walk away.
Yeah, you do.
It's true. It's true.
You do.
I mean, it's HBO, you know?
Yeah, it's I'd rather be super upset at a show than just be really lethargic about a show.
Is
I
it
guess
maybe it's not? I guess what I meant to bring up, it wasn't so much about like what happened was upsetting. It's, um, I guess like just with George R. R. Martin not being fully behind it, and then DB squared. I don't think they're called DB squared, but they're just not running away with it, but like blowing past him, and just kind of taking
artistic license.
pretty much.
See, this is
It's like his thing, and he did like sell it. That's true, but like now the story that he wants to like deliver is gonna be tarnished because like there will always be the comparison now, but it's not book to TV anymore. It'll be TV to book.
This is all news to me because I thought that he had told the showrunners the ending to his books and like they were on the same page and they actually knew what direction he wanted to take it and he had given them permission to run with it.
That's what I was under.
I don't know. I feel like, well, I definitely think that the masses that are watching the show they don't really follow these kind of politics and they just enjoy the show. But yeah, they're like the people who read the books and are super passionate about it. I think they just need to just wait for the books and wait till then to make a decision. But the guys' names are DB Weiss and David Benioff. I think
call him DB
I knew there were
yeah.
B's in there squared, but I guess you're right. They're Weiss, but I don't know. It's really interesting because I've always been one of those purists who, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I really do like to separate adaptations and their source materials, but with something as big as Game of Thrones, like whatever happens next season is like, I don't know, it's going to stick with me in like when I read the books, and it's like I don't know if that's intended or not. Like, this is.
What do you mean? Like,
you can't look at them separately anymore.
You think
Right,
it's
like,
unfortunate that the TV is coming out ahead of the books?
Well, it's not just that. It might influence your opinion of the book because
Right.
I mean, you're getting something that we won't even know what happens, and
There's
just
a
because it
difference-
happens in the show.
There's a difference between the adaptation part of it and then like it taking a different direction.
Mhm.
Because I mean, are we caught up with the show?
Yeah.
Can I say something about
Just-
that?
Just say spoilers and then you're allowed to say whatever you
Spoilers.
want.
People were saying that, like Stannis, who, for me, Stannis was. I defended Stannis tooth and nail to everyone who hated him. I was Team Stannis the Menace.
Yeah, now you
But
look
the
like
latest episode, he was like,
you look like an idiot now.
I look
yeah.
like an idiot. I know,
Yeah.
But no, it's the Stannis the Menace is like, it's a big deal. Like everyone loved him, and then people
Yeah.
did not like what happened, and then
It's-
people are saying it was Melisandre who was actually really the one who like insinuated that this would happen in the books.
Yeah,
It
and-
hasn't been written. Like what happened has not happened in the books, but people were saying like
And it
George intended Melisandre to be the one who did it.
made sense after Ned Stark's death that like if you're someone who really appreciates that honorable character and you're looking for that next like voice of honor in the show, that was Stannis. And then like turning on your own family is like, well shit. Like you were my honor, like you were my guy, and it didn't seem to fit the character and the role he played. So I think that's why a lot of people were pretty irked by it because he was detestable in that episode. He just becomes like he's become sad. Like he's a sad like thing to look at.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyways, it's something we can talk about for another time.
yeah, the CGI was awesome though.
Like after we see the finale, right?
Yeah, yep. Last week we played Heroes of the Storm.
Yes.
The
Ben's first games.
my first experience with the new MOBA. The first time the Q is collaborated on on something they enjoy. I liked it. It was cool. I think that I really appreciate like a lot of people who hate MOBAs or are scared of MOBAs because of how like tedious they are and how huge the learning curve is. I think Heroes of the Storm does a lot of good things to improve that. I really did not. I hate the meta game in League of Legends, like the runes and masteries. Just to me is a pointless and annoying thing to add to the game. And the Heroes of the Storm cuts all that stuff out. They cut out the items, which I do appreciate the items, and then they just let you focus on playing. Like they let you focus on playing the game, which is awesome.
Right.
I think
Ben
that
and I called it trimming the fat, I guess.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about this last week, I believe. And we were saying how League kind of locks itself into having one map. because when you have to itemize and balance the game, which is why I believe Twisted Tree Line isn't as popular as it could be.
Yeah.
Because you have to balance your items, and you have to balance your character's skill sets based on a map by map basis.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with Heroes, they just kind of threw that out the window and said, here are all these, this variety of maps. You have all these different characters, and it doesn't matter what you do, because it seems like when everybody's overpowered, nobody's overpowered.
Yeah. And to me, like, everything you just said is what makes, for me, League of Legends a better esport. So like what
standardization?
Yeah, like what, and just ability to balance around a very universal kind of map. But to me, what makes something the best possible esport doesn't necessarily make it the most fun game. And I mean, that's why it's gonna kind of appeal to the people that are looking for something like Heroes of the Storm. Like for me, where my favorite games have always been driven by my favorite esports, it's going to be hard for me to leave League. But for someone who doesn't want to put up with the bullshit of League and wants to have fun and appreciates the Warcraft universe, because there was so many awesome...
The Blizzard universe.
Yeah, the Blizzard universe. There were so many amazing Blizzard kind of callbacks and caricatures and vibes that, like, it was almost like reading just any kind of great callback or watching a callback movie. So
it's just like a massive love letter to their fans, in all honesty.
I think that's one of the other things too, right? It's Blizzard's got this huge book of lore that they could just pull from, whereas League kind of killed their lore department, right? It's more of a, we'll pick and choose random characters and write their lore as we go.
Yeah.
We've done it about 500 times.
Yeah, but I mean, no one...
League it's adjusting itself to be a better esport, like Ben was saying.
Yeah.
My thing is, it's more fun to watch League, to me, than it is to play it. Like, I would much rather watch a League game than watch a Heroes game, but I would much rather play a Heroes game than play a League game.
That's exactly what happened to me with StarCraft. Like, I got into StarCraft because of how much I enjoyed the scene, and I was like, holy shit, this game is exhausting, and I just would only watch it and never play it. And now League, to me, is a little bit more accessible just because we spent so much time learning the game, and MOBAs are not as mechanically demanding as RTSs, but you're right, it's the exact same thing. Heroes is just fun to play, and there's a lot to be said for that. So yeah, we had a good time.
Sure did.
Had a great time.
All right, what did you watch or play last week, Patrick?
So, binge watched all 13 episodes of Orange is the New Black.
Holy shit.
And
did that leak early, or was it...
It was out Thursday night, yeah.
Did it release earlier than expected, or was that its normal...
Yeah, no, it released a couple hours earlier than expected. Like 9 o'clock Central or Eastern on Thursday.
I feel like that's not as bad a leak as it could have been,
though.
No, and it was a leak by Netflix's standards. They said, hey, guess what? We decided to release it early versus, like, the House of Cards got released, like... 2 weeks before it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Like a handful of people got their hands on it. But Orange is the New Black, I loved it every second of it. Orange is the New Black has always been a great comedy with really dark, punches, emotional punches here and there. Orange is the New Black is probably one of the most character developing shows out there right now. I mean, most of you know if you watch it, they do flashbacks, and you kind of get to learn how these characters became the way they are, and they're all convicts. So you get to learn like how they got into jail and how their upbringings were. And
all female too, which is cool.
All female, but what's great is how it humanizes their villains. Like people like Pensatucky, who was the villain in the first season. She was like my favorite in the second season, or like I saw like in her like she's not really the villain anymore. And then we got backstory on her, and it was great. And then this season, it even carried up more so. Like Caputo, he's introduced as like this nasty like vice warden who like masturbates in his office, and like he was like the hero.
They turned him around.
They turned him around.
Wow.
Dude. They turn everyone around, and it's just so great that you can like see these. They're like real people. They're not like except for V. V in season 2. She was the worst.
She was the reason I did not like season 2. Was that whole thing.
I did not like V at all. But season 3 is great. They got a very interesting new dynamic, and I loved it. I loved every second of it.
It's such a
The squid.
progressive show. Like
It
Netflix
is.
For
just
sure.
Netflix is making shows that you just have never seen anything like them. Like very quickly, like Patrick was saying, you realize that that show is not about any one person. Like it is a family, it is a cast, and then like just to be about a women's prison, I that's just a totally novel idea. It's not like Desperate Housewives or any kind. A lot of the network shows, it's like gritty, it's dark. It appeals to a type of humor that to me is amazing. Like just the holy shit, life is really hard and terrible and gross.
Right.
So it's a very cathartic show to watch.
Yeah.
I really like how we have the option in this day and age to watch the FCC kind of censored stuff, and then Netflix has the ability to come out with something that
Yeah.
isn't necessarily breaking any FCC standards, but it's definitely not something you would watch on network television.
Mm.
And I wonder how that's going to change the landscape of how people do television series going forward. Because
Yeah.
Netflix seems to be on the ball consistently.
They're pushing it.
That's true. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of Netflix originals that you just never heard of.
Hmm.
So they're not like batting 100%. It's just like the ones that they do really like hit the nail on the head with a hammer. They're really, really good. But
It just feels like they're taking risks. So like,
yeah,
which is like for the same reason why a lot of the shows fall short, can actually be taken as a kind of a positive for what they're doing because they're taking huge risks. And kind of HBO falls in kind of a different sphere where yeah, they get to push the FCC, but what they specialize in is big budget, like big actor productions. So they don't
Right.
they make some gritty shows, but I don't know that they're taking the risks that Netflix are taking. But it's awesome. The internet has made a lot of things possible.
right. And let's not confuse like pushing FCC as like being a like automatically a good thing. Like they just like have good people who are good writers.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. You guys are just saying like, oh, they push the FCC here and there. It's like that doesn't mean it's great that they do that.
For me, it does.
But they-
Like,
okay.
and that's like
That's true.
that's a personal thing. But like, I like when you put like when the FCC to me like it's the same reason I hate PG-13 movies is when you restrict the like adult nature or the adult content of a show. That makes me it reminds me that I'm watching a TV show like because you can't do the type of things that you say in real life like and that's stupid like it's a personal thing and it's just something that I like out of my things but like if someone gets hit like punched in the face in a movie and they don't say fuck like I'm just like well like no I like it gritty I like it like raw I like it like adult so I would say that because HBO and Netflix are making more raunchy or violent shows that would not be allowed on TV, that doesn't necessarily make them good, but it makes me more interested in kind of the TV medium, whereas I might not watch just the other network shows.
That's
Right.
fair. That's fair.
I read a book this week, guys.
Ew.
Nice.
No, I'm kidding.
I read a whole book and it was amazing. I stayed up. I went to bed at like 12 last night. I was like, I'm about 80% done. I'm just gonna read for a couple minutes, and I read from like midnight to like 2 o'clock in the morning to finish it. It's called The Martian. It's about a man that gets stranded on Mars after like a crazy storm. They're making a movie with Matt Damon that I think comes out this fall. It was actually written by like a total science geek who just like self-published it for free on the internet, and it kind of became viral. And they like pushed him to put it on Kindle, and he was like, "Okay, fine." So he set it at the minimum possible price at 99 cents, and it blew up. And it's like it's one part like survival, fantasy, not fantasy. There's nothing fantasy about it. It's like survival storytelling about a man who gets stranded on Mars, and then it's another part like deep dive into NASA engineering and the type of technology it takes to make space travel possible and all the chemical reactions that he has to use on Mars to grow his own plants. And it is hilarious. Like it is probably one of the best books I've read in a long time. So anyone, yeah, that movie's gonna blow up. Like they have Matt Damon, who's the girl that did the Bridesmaids. Or Bridesmaids.
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig is in it. Like they went so Kate Mara, Jessica Chastain, Kristen Wiig, Matt Damon, Sean Bean, Donald Glover, Jeff Daniels. Like this movie, they put a lot of money into this movie, and the trailer just came out last week. I would recommend reading the book beforehand, but I mean, any science nerd who just loves a good story, and like it really got me motivated to learning more about NASA, learning more about space travel, and it's written from
It's brilliantly done.
It's so good. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I'm excited for the movie, and yeah, that's what I did this week.
Nice.
It was cool. I might start reading more books. Nah.
Right.
Nah.
Books are great.
No, let's. It was an anomaly, a supernova. How about you? How about you, Christian?
I played a lot of Smash Brothers. That's about all I did this
Smash
week.
Bros. Do you play against other people or do you play against computers?
Yeah, I play online, and I get my shit kicked in 9 times out of 10. But it's fun.
And you play on the DS, right?
Yeah, I play on the 3DS.
So Nintendo has created a positive online experience.
After you remove all of the talking, yeah, sure.
Well, like I guess
thought
I'm
there
saying,
wasn't talking aloud.
Yeah, that's exactly why it's positive.
Okay.
and their network works and
Yeah,
stuff.
surprisingly.
on the DS.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was surprising. It's a really fun experience just because it's really the only fighter game I ever play, and I mean, just today they released a patch with 3 new characters, 2 new maps. So,
Do you prefer it
Been
to the like Wii style, or is it just more convenient?
it's just more convenient. I mean, I don't want to have to blow that kind of money on a Wii, whereas I already have my 3DS. I could just bring that with me too. Kill
Sick.
time.
Well, I like those games. I like that they're supporting them now with like kind of new DLC because those games, I mean, they make them once every 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's going to add some longevity. And those Smash Bros. Is classic.
Mhm.
It's the same game, I think, as the Wii version as well, right?
Yep, pretty much.
Nice. Okay. Well, we got some news this week, some pre-E3 stuff.
Yeah.
We all play Hearthstone. We got some Hearthstone news. We got the first
Ugh.
one. You guys want the good or the bad first?
Let's take the good first,
Okay.
because we're probably going to talk a lot about the bad.
The good announcement is Tavern Brawl, which is basically it doesn't really mean anything. Like it's kind of like a made up word. Essentially they're making new mini games each week where they're creating deck variants and adding new challenges and letting you use those challenges and rules. Essentially tournament settings in head-to-head competition.
Finally, my Murloc deck.
Yeah. Awesome, right? There's nothing not great about this. I mean, it's just
Right.
going to add some variety that's going to keep it fresh, maybe some fun mini games, play with your friends using new challenges instead of just net decking things all the time,
Yeah.
which most people
It's
probably
true.
don't do, but I do that just cuz I hate losing.
No, most people probably do that.
Yeah.
because, I mean, the amount of carbon copy decks that you play in Hearthstone on a regular basis is
Yeah. This will mix it up. This will be cool. The bad.
Jesus.
It's not even that bad. It's just like because we don't even have to.
I don't know. I feel like it's pretty bad.
All right. So new heroes. I'm gonna read their bite. New heroes put a fresh face on the classes you know and love. Each new hero takes on an iconic persona from the Warcraft history and brings them to the inn. These heroes have animated portraits, unique animated version of the hero power, personalized game board artwork, all new emotes, special match start animations, and custom themed card backs. And let me be clear, these are not new classes. Keeping with like DLC for free to play games, it is essentially just new art assets. It is new, does not affect the gameplay whatsoever. The kicker is that each individual hero is going to cost $9.99.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that.
So how is this different from buying a League skin? Or
Not
Heroes of the Storm
not
skin?
at all different.
Not at all.
Okay. So, and we've both spent money on League and Heroes of the Storm. So, why is this such a bad thing? I'm playing Devil's Advocate.
No, and
I feel like you guys are.
I'm with you. No, I'm
Or
with you.
bubbling.
I'm with
Okay.
you. I don't really think it's a bad thing. I just think that it's a bad value proposition. There's 2 things that are wrong with it. One is that they charge too much, which is not a big deal at all. Like, who the fuck cares? Like, just don't buy it. If you don't want it, don't buy it. You don't. It's not going to give anyone a competitive advantage, so it's not hurting the integrity of the free-to-play game. The bad is that they're not allowing you to buy it with real game gold, or with in-game gold, which I think is just. It's just like they they allowed in-game gold to buy things in the past. Maybe those things weren't purely aesthetic, but it spurns a little bit of people who were really enjoying their like free-to-play mindsets. Yeah, I mean it's new artwork. It's a little bit pricey. I think they basically what some of the reactions that I heard that were super negative were that it felt like they were targeting the whales. Like it felt like they knew that a percentage of the Hearthstone kind of universe will kind of buy anything that you want to put out. So they like alleged that they just had some art laying around that they knew some people would want to buy, and they charged $10 for it.
Yep.
It's kind of a raw deal, but the outburst was like Patrick was saying, like a little bit, like just don't buy it.
Yeah, that's the position I'm in. Like you don't have
Vote
to
with
buy
your
it.
wallet. Vote with your wallet.
Yeah.
Vote with
If
your
you don't like it,
wallet.
don't get
It's
it.
not a big deal. Like
I
people
don't know.
put time and work into making these things, and like if you really valued it, then you'd buy it.
Yeah,
I understand that. It's just like, I guess to me, it's coming from Blizzard, where everything that you really do pay money for, usually in a Blizzard game, kind of adds a dimension. I mean, with Hearthstone, it's not Hearthstone. With Heroes, it's buying a new champion. I mean, there are skins there too, but I feel like you get more out of the skins in a Heroes game than you would out of the skins in a Hearthstone, and maybe that's just because it's so static that I feel like this is kind of
yeah.
unnecessary.
Maybe we don't really know how much
And
work
we
it
don't
is.
we don't know how much, other than like when you tap your hero icon, you like change the animation, but we don't know how it like affects the actual board or any of the other stuff too. So we don't know the full extent of if it's actually worth $9.99 or
Well,
not.
Right.
they did release like all the pictures and stuff of the first hero, like the animations and the custom portrait and the artwork and the emotes.
How it affects the board and stuff and the emotes.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's fine. It's just new animations. It's not it's cool, but like I don't know, as someone who likes Hearthstone, this is not the type of content that's going to make me play it more. Like I'm not saying it's bad content, but there's a lot of things the community wants. The community wants new classes, the community wants new cards, the community wants new game modes, which they're doing. But if it were up to me, I would have rather have them spent the resources on pushing some of those pieces. Maybe multiplayer, like 2 versus 2. And I know that's not really art stuff, that's design stuff, but
That would be really interesting to see. I would
Yeah.
love to see that kind of thing, or even like pulling in things from Magic and EDH style.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not EDH, but there are just certain game styles where it'd be really interesting to see.
yeah.
Like a draft mode, maybe, where essentially the way Magic Draft works is that you open up a pack, you look at the cards in it, you pick one, and you pass it around in a circle until all the cards are gone. You do that again until everybody's got a full deck.
And maybe Tavern Brawl will bring some of that. Like
That'd
maybe
be
like
interesting to see.
yeah, because they're kind of leaving it open ended, and that they can kind of create any kind of mini game they want. So I think that might be a little bit of why people are feeling a little bit burned. Is that it's like, but I mean they announced Tavern Brawl with it, so maybe people
Yeah.
just saw the sticker price and their eyes went real big.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, they might. I mean, if I was as obsessed with Hearthstone as I was with League, I probably would buy it. But I'm not.
And there are going to be people who are like that.
There are a lot of people that are gonna buy
So
it. Other news. You want to take this, Patrick?
yeah, I mean, did any of you guys watch Jurassic World this weekend?
I've not seen it yet.
Did not.
So none of us contributed to what was one of the biggest opening weekends in cinematic history.
There's still a couple hours left if you want to contribute, though.
Second biggest behind Avengers 1, and third biggest on opening day Friday. Opening weekend is projected to be about 204.6 million, and then 82.8 million on Friday.
I did not.
I think
see
that
this
was
coming.
the combined total with Thursday and Friday, though, because I remember reading that the 82.8 was between the Thursday and Friday, and then that it was actually 67, which is still the best Friday
Okay,
as a single day.
as a single day, gotcha. I mean, it's crazy.
I didn't see this coming at all.
No,
I completely agree.
not at all.
Is this a testament to like how little other movies are out? Like whereas typically in the summer we open with more big blockbusters that appeal to more people. Like Mad Max was amazing, but it's kind of more for some people that like really violent action movies, whereas this is more of a I don't know. I'm just
It could have been a sequel at the right time in the right place.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like,
Was
I'm taking a look at everything else. There's like Spy and San Andreas made a lot of money. And
Ew. Oh.
I'm just saying, but like, no, Spy has a 95. I don't know why we didn't have Spy on our little game.
I've never heard of Spy. I was ewing at San
But it
Andreas.
It was McCarthy, right?
This is the Melissa McCarthy movie, and she's done other movies like that Heat movie with Sandra Bullock that looked
She was in
awful.
Bridesmaids, wasn't she?
She was in Bridesmaids, so like I would have thrown Spy down the barrel. I bet you all three of us would have, but it has a 95.
Yeah,
We're
but this
talking about
this doesn't
Rotten
have
Tomatoes
anything to
rating?
do with like box office. Like
That's true. I got caught up on talking about the game again.
if it
But,
wasn't,
I mean, Spy was
Okay.
at the top of 29.1 million, so it's not. I don't think there's nothing to not watch.
But it was. I think I would have assumed under for that one,
Right.
Under-
because
But
comedies
anyways,
don't tend to do that well. But yeah,
I mean, back to the box office stuff. I don't know. It's crazy how high it was.
people love dinosaurs.
Mm.
We're gonna get like a bunch of dinosaur movies 2 years from now, like in response to this awesome opening weekend.
You know, it's gonna be like, I don't know. It's
Summer-
gonna be-
this is going to make me more curious to see what happens when Star Wars gets released.
Yeah,
That's what we were talking about with, or that's what I wanted to talk about next, is what could possibly top it. And the two movies I thought of would be Star Wars and the Batman v Superman movie.
are we talking
Yeah.
about just this year? What could top it?
Just what's coming.
Yeah,
Because Star Wars is later on this year, correct?
Yeah, because both of those movies are as like monumental landmarks as Jurassic World, which has been, I don't know,
but
when was Jurassic Park 3?
gosh,
We might run into the issue of them competing with each other though, in that same time frame.
yeah,
Wait, when are they slated for release?
I think
March. Wait,
I
when?
think this is
Oh.
this is definitely the power of Chris Pratt. That's what we have to give this to. Because if you think about it, I don't know. Like Jurassic Park 1 is legendary, but like I don't know, 2 and 3 were liked, but they weren't. It wasn't like this series compares with Star Wars or Star Trek or
The Pratt effect.
yeah. Like I am so blown away at how well this did. Because I think everyone. We just weren't expecting it. Whereas Star Wars, if it does that, we're just like, yeah, it's Star Wars.
It's very true.
And Chris Pratt is kind of new to like carrying a movie, like to be like if that was Brad Pitt or George Clooney on the billboard, it's like yeah, that might do 200 million. But Chris Pratt is kind of an internet favorite. I mean, he kind of exploded with Guardians of the Galaxy. I guess that was his first time, and that movie was really well liked. I mean, I'm really excited to see it now. It's got. I mean, we'll talk about its Rotten Tomatoes in a second, but
It's good to see he's not being typecast coming out of Parks and Rec.
yeah, well,
Yeah, that's true.
He's doing the opposite of typecast.
It's good to see that he's getting these roles and actually making them successful because that's really cool. And
Yeah.
that only makes me curious to see what else we would see Chris Pratt in later on.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
I took a look at his IMDb. It doesn't look like he's doing a lot.
He's doing Guardians.
Unfortunately.
I bet he does a lot of Marvel like movie tie-ins.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I bet he's in the next Avengers and he's in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and all that. So this brings us to in our third podcast we played a game where we predicted which summer movies would get over or under 80% critics Rotten Tomatoes score. So 2 movies have since come since we last revisited this. The first was Tomorrowland, which Christian said over, Patrick said under, referencing how George Clooney didn't quite grab him in the trailers. It just felt a little off. And then I said that I was optimistic for over since I went on a huge rant how everything was a sequel. So I was like, wait a second. I can't go under on this original movie. So I like twisted my own arm and said over. Nah. This movie came and went with a 50%
Right.
critic and around their audience score. Shit. It just didn't fit in anywhere. Like it wasn't a kids movie. Like it wasn't an adult movie. George Clooney didn't feel like he fit in the movie. no buzz
It was exactly what
whatsoever.
Ian was saying.
And I don't even want to like back that because I haven't seen the movie. So it's like I don't even want to say like, oh, I was right with George Clooney like phoning it in because I don't know because I never saw it.
But it definitely slipped. Kind of, it just came and went. It didn't generate.
It's like
yeah,
a lame fart.
It wasn't.
yeah.
like
It wasn't Interstellar.
Yeah.
I didn't see Interstellar, but I want to.
I still haven't either.
We should
So
Skype.
bad.
We should Skype watch it.
Oh god.
We are in different states. For those of you who think that we just don't leave our houses.
I mean, we kind of really just don't leave our house. Anyway.
I did. You guys did hear that I watched Orange Is the New Black this weekend, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you know? It's like that was like 14, 15 hours.
I did not put, and you managed to do some Bloodborne.
And I played a lot of Bloodborne too.
I didn't put two and two together.
This weekend was a low point for me.
You mean a high point?
A high point. What was I thinking?
It was a beautiful, beautiful weekend.
Your parents talk to me about that. They're always coming up to me. Ian never leaves his room.
No.
Maybe that's because they think he's still in his room and they're really confused. He's actually in a different state. So Jurassic World got 70% critics, 86% audience. Christian was correct with an under that said one too many sequels in a beloved franchise. Just skepticism over whether a sequel could be good or could be above 80%. Patrick said under, saying like kind of would take more than just CGI to win critics over. But just kind of similar to what Christian was saying. And I said over because Chris Pratt. I want to give myself half credit, guys. No, I'm just kidding. It sounds like the audience really loved it, which is kind of what is in line with what you'd expect from a summer action movie. But Patrick is the only one that is 2 for 2. So, anywho.
About 100%?
I think so.
I don't think you went over on Mad Max.
I said over with Mad Max.
You did?
I definitely said over with Mad Max.
Okay, so you are definitely at 100%.
Good.
We'll be back. All right, so with that, let's get into our topic. So this week, I kind of tying off a lot of early E3 announcements. We had Fallout 4 trailer. We had Dark Souls 3 announcement. I'm about to lose my breath. We had 1 terabyte Xbox and PlayStations. We got Xbox partnering with Oculus. Bum, bum, bum. Ratchet and Clank. Everybody's gone to the Rapture release date. Hellblade, Battleborn trailers being released. And this kind of brings me to kind of how should games be announced for us? So what is your favorite way to learn about a game? Do you want to see like a preview? Do you want to see a concept art 3 years before release? Do you prefer story trailers? Do you prefer CGI trailers? What do you guys like? How do you guys feel about hearing all these announcements?
I'll take a shot.
Okay.
I like it. One, it depends on the game. Very much depends on the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, I can remember the Arkham City trailer, and it's like cinematic-y, you know. It's definitely not going to look like the game itself, but it introduces like the theme, like the basic storyline. It introduces like a mysterious villain, and I think that's the best way to get your audience intrigued and hyped up. And then after that, you slowly release the game trailers and character trailers and all that stuff.
Did it bother you how early Batman kicked off the marketing campaign? I feel like it was kind of winning E3s 2 years before it was actually even going to release.
That's true, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I was upset like everyone else when I learned that it would not be released in 2014 and rather be released in 2015. But I mean, they've continually like had a small release of like teasers, and for the hardcore fans, like you could access the website and like punch in codes that are in the stills of the trailer to like learn more about the characters and stuff to keep the hype going. You know, for those that really love the game, because I did all that. I googled how to get the numbers and stuff, but. I mean, between the 2 years, there was still hype enough, and I mean, they're polishing the game, so it's understandable.
So you're okay with like the Batmobile specific trailer and the villain specific trailer and the yep. So I do. You like all the types of announcement
I
material.
do. I do. I mean, that's not a. And like I said, it depends on the game. Because like, if you
Yeah.
give me a bunch of shit for another game, then I'm like, it's too much.
Yeah.
But I mean, if for the games you love, you'll take every drop you want. And then the games like Fallout 4 with the trailer, it's like it means nothing to me. I don't really care. And
But the internet exploded.
let the internet explode for
Uh,
whatever they wanted to. But
how about you, Christian?
I gotta go with my CGI trailers, the very story oriented ones that kind of pull you in from the get go. But that's just because I've been a Blizzard fan for as long as I can remember.
That's
They're
not
just-
fair. That's not
no,
fair at
they
all.
do their CGI trailers really well.
Short films
Yeah.
are not the same as CGI trailers, Christian. That is a totally different animal.
Yeah.
That
No, I
makes-
mean, I like all forms just because all news about a game is good news. You know, it's not like there's too much to spoil when it comes to games. This is really what I like about game trailers, is because the scenes that they show in a trailer don't even have to be in the game. They just have to get you hooked.
Exactly.
Whereas
it's like
in
real
movie
movies,
trailers,
too.
you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Movie trailers
movie
kind of
trailers
spoil
are
the crap
worst,
out of it.
dude. Movie
Yeah.
trailers
Yeah.
are the worst with that kind of stuff.
So with game trailers, it's not like you're spoiling the game for yourself. You're just saying, "Holy shit, that was really cool. I want to see more."
Yeah.
Mhm.
I kind
Because
of
you're not using assets from like the movie itself to generate the hype. You can like
Right.
produce the hype.
Right.
I have kind of a bone to pick with CGI trailers because so there's a fine line between like making kind of a glossy, story-driven, beautiful piece of art and trying to make the game that you're like trying to sell a game that you're not actually making. So sometimes they will be CGI'd in the form of where it kind of you look like you're in first person perspective and this is kind of similar to what the gameplay might look like. And it really upsets me when they kind of like promise certain things that I just know aren't going to be even real. It doesn't even matter to me.
Oh, I
Like I
see.
just like Watch Dogs or The Witcher. Like a lot of people are pretty upset that the trailers and demos and CGI stuff that they released at the previous E3s looks nothing like the game. Like, and those games looked great, but because they made these kind of like they paid a ton of money to make these huge high resolution CGI trailers. We just feel like, well, why even? I don't know. You just feel a little bit.
Can you not tell yourself to separate the two?
No, because
Like
some games like do it. Like Last of Us, probably like the trailers for The Last of Us looked amazing, and the game looked like astounding. It's just, and there's a lot of types of games where they can live up to CGI trailers, and a lot of games that live up to CGI trailers. Open world games are not some of them, just because of the like limitations on the build. But no, I like the way that Fallout released. I mean, people were complaining that it didn't look good enough, and it's like, holy shit, it's gonna look like that. Like that's really neat because I feel like I'm that much closer to the game. Like I feel very detached when it's just a video production department making something. When I feel like I'm seeing like a piece of the asset of the game, that's when I know it's real and that's when I know it's coming. So that gets me a lot more excited. So I prefer kind of more realistic trailers, like closer to release, where they actually have some gameplay and some assets to make something cool, instead of like they did a Crackdown video at E3 last year, and it's just like what the hell am I looking at? Like, this is like a storyboard, like with some explosions from some like demo engines. I'm just like, I wait until you can show me some of the game.
So, I mean, there's like a separation between an announcement trailer and a gameplay trailer. Like, if you go to YouTube and you Google, like, I'm going to use Batman again, like, let's go with the second game, Arkham City. There's, like, the announcement trailer, which they release, like, 2 years in advance, and then
That's generally your CGI.
It
So,
comes in
so I'm
as
telling you, yeah, compare that to Fallout 4's announcement trailer.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
I way prefer Fallout 4's like, I see what you're saying. Like, that's my point is I do not like announcement trailers. I just like Fallout 4 announced with a 3-minute like look into the world and the assets, and it's just like, holy shit, like it's coming and it's coming soon, compared to like the bat symbol with like some metal music like 3 years out. I don't know. Now I'm getting salty, but it's just not my favorite.
I understand that.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's a different strokes for different folks. Because I mean,
think the
Christian
only
and I
game.
we enjoy our story
Yeah,
trailers
love them.
like years out. Yeah, I mean, it's just fun to like with League of Legends, for example, when they release like all of those character trailers, like with Echo's CGI thing or Callista's thing or even Rek'Sai's. It's like totally different styles. You're excited for the champ, and like you do Heroes of the Storms, like Joanna hype video, like Dan showed me that, and I was like, that's cool with like that's like what the character is and stuff, but it wasn't like artistic and it wasn't like it didn't like generate hype for me personally.
Mm.
But
Right.
Yeah, like
But
I
that's
do.
just, I think it because that one actually did use the assets from the game, right? Which
it
is
really
why.
like that one like looked like the game.
Yeah, and I do like story trailers because, yeah, I have a little bit more leniency with a CGI story trailer than like a CGI like the Battlefront trailer, for example. That was a CGI trailer that it was there was no story in that, and the game's not going to look like that. It was just a bunch of stormtroopers and bikes going through the woods, and it looked amazing. But it's like I don't know anything more about the game than I did yesterday. So I would prefer something different.
The only game I think I could say I looked forward to when it came to those kind of where it actually did actually hold up to the hype of it was Crisis.
Yeah, yeah. You need a $3,000 computer, but yeah, yeah. That was a good looking game. All right. Thanks, guys. How about you, Patrick?
Okay, so my topic is going to be about like some movie, TV, and book franchises that you kind of fell in love with, but then you eventually gave up on as time went on. So I was curious as to what are some of the franchises that fall in that category for you guys, and some follow-up questions are like, was it a sudden or abrupt stoppage or a gradual loss in interest? Was it emotional? Like, were you angry with the people, or were you just sad or disappointed? Were you in the same boat as everyone else? Who's to blame? And like, have you ever decided to come back and like come back to the franchise after people like convinced you and then really found like what was making it special in the first place?
Supernatural, for sure.
There you go. That's
Yep.
a
Yeah.
Do you have any regrets?
I mean, I think I like to think that I got out while the going was good because just after I lost interest, it seemed like the show kind of went downhill from there. I mean, what I hear consistently is that it just isn't as good as it used to be.
Yeah,
So, I
how
mean,
long did you hang in there?
I
for?
wish
How
I did that
many
with Dexter.
seasons?
probably at least 6 seasons.
Out of how
6
many?
or
are
7
there?
seasons.
That's
I
a
think we're on like 10 plus.
wow. That's a pretty
Wow.
valiant effort, though. 6 seasons. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever lasted that long and then backed out. Like Dexter.
And I mean, I didn't watch it from the beginning either. Well, not necessarily from the beginning, but I didn't watch it when the show came out.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember.
So I caught up like maybe a year and a half ago, and I mean, I tried to keep up, but it just wasn't.
I felt like
Yeah.
Dexter because I was 6 seasons in. I could not stop, even though I knew I could see like the train or the car going over the cliff. I just couldn't. I felt so invested that I plummeted to the bottom. It was terrible.
They should have stopped Dexter after like
yeah.
what was it 5?
Yeah, 5.
Three.
5 would have been fine. Oh no, not 3. Four's
three.
four's the Trinity season.
Oh, okay, never mind then. Four.
Yeah. I know. I was like, no, sir.
Like, okay, I was. Yeah. All right.
For me, yeah, there's kind of two distinct categories. There's the categories where the show was not for me, and the categories where the show was getting bad. So Breaking Bad and Mad Men, I watched the first season of both of those shows, both like hugely acclaimed, beloved. Didn't really care about the characters and just didn't keep watching. I don't regret not watching, but I definitely did not leave those shows because for any lack of quality. It was just not for me. Shows that I think got bad, I got The Office, and I remember Glee.
Yeah.
Like, I actually really liked the first season of Glee, and then it was just like, oh, like, the magic's gone, like, after, like, very quickly. And then
Yeah.
the Office, Michael Scott left, and it's just like, no, there's not anymore.
And let me ask you, what happened to Community?
It got too.
Did you give up on it?
For that one, I think I blame the show's distribution, like because of all the delays and like the quarter seasons and the changing of networks and the changing of platforms. Like they made it super difficult. I mean, I'm not huge on sitcoms, so I typically won't follow. I mean, that's the best. I mean, that show's amazing and one of the best sitcoms ever. But yeah, that show they just like the delayed seasons and the disjointed like runnings was made it too difficult, which is a shame.
I
It
stopped
is.
after Donald Glover left.
Oh, so you lasted a good while though.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
you're only a season behind then. You're like, you haven't watched
yeah,
the Yahoo season. The Yahoo season is great. I haven't had a chance to talk about Community, but Community, honestly, like what Community has accomplished is gonna be in the history books for television. Like it pioneered a lot of just like I don't know. It died, it came back, it died again, it
so
came
Came
back.
is
back
it
again.
is it
Um,
doing things for the good of the history of television or the bad of history of
no, and
television?
I mean it's like a quality TV show. It's so smartly written,
It is.
and like there are a lot of those out there that have kicked the bucket, but by sheer force of will, like the audience has like brought it back. You know,
Yeah.
um,
If
Yeah.
only it could do the same for Firefly.
I
Oh.
don't know, dude. You got to put the Firefly thing under the bed. We got what we got on Firefly.
I know,
It's
I
not
know.
gonna
I
come
shouldn't
back,
complain,
dude.
but I will.
We're all old as shit
Damn it.
now. It's just like not we can't do it anymore.
I want
Although
more.
we do still see
Nathan Fillion?
Bucky.
Bucky.
from, or is it
Uh,
Bucky or is it Buck who he plays in the Halo series now?
Oh gosh. I don't
I
even
don't
know.
know.
Nathan Fillion's face is now used in a Halo NPC.
Oh yeah, I did see
For,
that.
for
I
Halo
did see
5.
that. Yeah, it looks neat. The last one I did want to touch on was The Walking Dead. Uh, and that one I came back multiple times because of like friends and girlfriends loving that show, and uh I can't stand that show. That show is so beloved and it is so lost on me. It's just like a rat race of shenanigans.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I think it's just good bad TV.
well, like the thing
Good
with
bad
that.
TV.
So I
It's good
guess
bad TV.
so. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like when you wrote this question, it was what are some franchises that you gave up on and why, and you listed movies, TVs, and books. And to me, like the design of the TV platform to like a seasonal show with just that there's no definitive ending makes that like the platform to give up on things just because like the first season of The Walking Dead, like my mind just like I was like, this is the greatest thing ever, this is like such a haunting and gritty show, and I got what I came for, and everyone got what they came for, and they were like, oh man, everyone loved what they came for, let's keep making it. And I don't think even that the show's quality has gone down. I just feel like you've done it already, and it's the same characters doing it over and over again, and it's still good. But because of the way TV works, enough sometimes you need something different.
It's true. True.
Okay. Huh, we both deleted the line at the same time. Christian, what's your topic?
I wanted to cover something that we've been wanting to cover.
Oh yes,
apparently.
it's about time.
And we just never had the time to.
I think we even forgot one episode.
Yeah, I was on one of the bandwagons. I was one of the first people who pre-ordered the Apple Watch, so that's here.
Hey,
So I want to talk about that and the future of wearables and
Put it-
where
put
you
it-
guys think,
put it closer.
so we can see that.
Swag. Look, it tells time. Nice.
Oh, gotta unlock that. But yeah,
how do you like
it's
it?
It's been really really nice actually. Not having to check my phone to read texts while I'm driving is really nice. That's one of the biggest things.
Yeah, don't text and drive, boys and girls.
Yeah,
AT&T, take the pledge.
the text is the talk to text is really good. It reads what you're saying. The dictation is really good. But what I really like is just, I mean, it does a lot of things that I don't need to just pop open my phone for. So I want to check the calendar when I want to pay for Starbucks. I mean, it's just, at a glance, it's really there. It's easy. It's accessible. It's on my wrist. It lasts about 2.5 days off charge.
Whoa.
So
That is
I mean,
way better than I thought.
yeah, and I mean that's just personal anecdote, because I know people who say they don't last more than than 24 hours. But
I wish
I mean,
my
I could
phone
go
lasted that long.
without charging this for 2.5 days.
I
It's interesting. It's new. We'll see where it goes, because I don't know if there are any bugs, but we'll figure that out as time goes.
Have you used like the health app stuff, like the
Yeah,
accelerometer?
it's every day actually. So here, I guess I could show that now. Let's unlock this, and I'll show you guys the health app. So now,
This will be good for the audio listeners.
yeah, it
It's
shows you
it's
the
a good
outer
looking.
ring.
It just looks cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the middle ring is exercise, outer ring is calories, and then the center ring is like standing time. So you're supposed to stand for a certain amount of time every day.
Mm.
If you scroll down, it'll actually, I could probably do it this way. It'll show you just more detailed information. You can swipe or tap it. There you go. Swipe to see, specifics, and you can scroll down to see specifics there for times.
And you can't
But
like
it's actually
you can't
it's
like
good.
talk at it, right? Like if someone calls you, you can't like hold your watch up to your face, or
Oh, you can.
you can do that.
Yeah, you
So-
can use it as a stand-in for your phone.
Can you surf the internet?
Do you have to have your phone with you?
It has to be linked.
Right,
And
that's
there's
what
a
I
certain
thought.
radius. But I mean,
Okay.
I've been able to use the feature for calling and texting, but throughout my house.
Hmm.
So I mean, that's a pretty good distance where I can just leave my phone there and be able to do what I need to do without having it on me.
Mm-hmm. Definitely the first piece of wearables that has made a big splash.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just going to dictate where it goes now, because now everyone's probably scrambling to make one. I know Android's probably going to have a lot of competition in that market.
Yep.
So
The
we'll
pub-
see where it goes from there. I mean, I'm just curious to see where they take it, because this is just, I mean, if this is just the first step, I'm really interested to see where we're going to go.
Well, I think it's going to be like made or braked by the same thing that made the iPhone itself so accessible or so great, which is third party support. So I'm really excited for when the ownership base expands, and that's going to incentivize developers to start making some really cool things. And I think that's going to change the game completely, because I mean, the iPhone without the App Store is nothing. And then I mean, Apple is going to be the first company that's able to put a lot of these wearables in the hands of consumers. So they're going to be to me, the first people that are going to really trigger third-party developers to start putting some effort in. Because if you make like some of the firsts you think about for the Apple Watch, there's just a lot of money to be made where like the person that made the flashlight app for like the original iPhone,
Yeah.
which now you don't need because they integrated it into the software, but like they made a fortune because they created an app that let you turn on your flash on your camera on like permanently.
Right.
There's just all these neat little like opportunities for the Apple Watch, and I'm excited to see kind of when all the developers get on board.
They made it easier. I think recently Apple just announced that Swift, the
new
kind of
language.
that they would be using, was open source, so anybody has access to developing for any of their devices now.
Yeah, there's like I remember I looked into developing for iPhone apps for a little while, and there's like a $100 licensing fee.
Yeah.
Whereas Android's free, but $100 is actually fairly cheap. Like I think a dev kit for like an Xbox or a PlayStation is actually like $3,000 or something like
It's
that.
expensive.
Yeah.
At least.
But
I
I'm-
haven't ever tried to develop outside of a university setting.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say that. I mean, just the amount of people that are going to have Apple Watches. I have a friend at work who pre-ordered his like 2 months ago, and he still hasn't gotten it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, he got like one of the really nice. He wanted like the stainless steel, he wanted the more, he's not planning on like exercising with it. He wants it kind of like to wear with his suit and his swag.
Yeah, that's why I got the spare band, man. Use it all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you got the smaller. There's two sizes, right?
Oh, I got the larger size. So
The
this
larger
is
size?
the
Okay.
42 millimeter. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it's perfect. You've got for guys, I think the 42 is probably going to be the better size, just because. I mean, I don't think
That's
I have
normally the
particularly low
tradition.
wrist. Yeah.
Did you wear a watch before you had the Apple Watch?
Yeah, I actually have a collection of watches that I have over there, but
All right,
I mean, I used to wear them all the time.
Do you think someone who's never worn a watch and has a intense fear of being asymmetrical would have a problem with the Apple Watch? Like, is it take getting used to? Do you find yourself like banging it into things, or like taking it off when you're cooking or stuff like that? This is a really stupid question, but
Not particularly. I mean, it's I guess it's just maybe because I've been wearing a watch. I don't really know how that went when I first got a watch. I don't remember anymore. But as far as banging it into things, generally my wrist is kind of free of all that. Maybe doorways, I guess, if you're
Yeah.
kind of trying to edge your way in.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's pretty durable material. That's sapphire in the glass.
Yeah.
So I haven't heard of anybody actually breaking it unless they were trying to.
I like the idea of an Apple product that you don't have to put a case on because the industrial
Right.
design is so great. Other than the computers, obviously, but the industrial design is so great that you get to just like just swag it, just like represent the Apple without having to put. I mean, a lot of the cases on the iPhone essentially just make it like a rectangle with a screen.
And for the business users, it's kind of perfect because that way you don't have to like sneak and watch your phone during a meeting. Pull it up and sneak a glance at it.
This is a game
'Cause
changer.
guilty as charged. I had a meeting last week, and I was having to watch out for my emails and watch out for, incoming text from like my superiors, whatever.
Yeah, I can't imagine
Makes
being
it easier.
Yeah, like in like a high school setting with an Apple Watch. Because like when I was a kid, I was playing iPhone or calculator games on my TI-84, and now people are
Right,
going to be
right.
like checking in
Yeah.
on all sorts of stuff. Because I don't know, it'll be cool.
Instagram and Twitter feeds.
Yeah, I want to see like the next watch have like the hologram, like the Jedi from Star Wars come up. It's like you could watch like live action projections of Tupac and whatever else you need. Cool. So last question, what do you want out of the next Apple Watch different? Or is there anything?
Probably just a longer battery life. I mean, that could always be a better thing. But as far as, I mean, I haven't had any complaints since I got mine in. I mean, it's pretty responsive. I don't have to worry about tapping the wrong things, clicking the wrong buttons. It's intuitive. They did the best with what they had. I mean, for a first generation product, it seems like it doesn't have as many bugs as people originally thought it would.
Nice.
So maybe Apple's just learning from, previous. Because I mean, it definitely isn't the first smartwatch on the market, but
No.
it is
That was
probably
Pebble.
the best.
Yeah, the Pebble was I don't think it was well received. Yeah, like I don't know. To me, if it lasts a whole day and you can charge it overnight, that's all I would need personally.
Yeah.
Because my
Yep.
phone, I mean, I pretty much have to charge my phone every night. I definitely have to charge my phone every night, but that's because I'm a power user.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Anything else? Do you want to add anything else, Patrick?
Nope.
Okay, cool. So that's going to do it for this episode of The Queue. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Check out new episodes weekly every Monday. We would love your feedback and opinions wherever we can get them. This is a great week to follow us on Twitter because E3 is going to create a lot of live tweeting and a lot of I told you so's. So check us out at Fig_TV and freebrunch on Twitter, the Fig TV and freebrunch on YouTube. Drop us a review on iTunes if you can. That would really help us out. And that's going to do it. Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
Later.